Hi there. Today I'm going to be talking about ESRI's DIY Geo Apps Mooc, also known as Massive Open Online Course. If you've ever been wondering how to create an app within the ESRI ecosystem and infrastructure using ArcGIS Online and publicly available datasets, and maybe even some datasets that are behind a paywall, you'll definitely want to watch this video. First off, you may be wondering what a Mooc is. It's a massive open online course, which is not the same as WoW, because who doesn't love WoW? A game about maps and data. It's fantastic. These classes are provided by ESRI and are free and open to anyone. You can go to their website and sign up. You'll be provided with software, access to resources, data, and a forum for discussion. And a teacher will also be there to guide you through the lessons. So why take the Geo Apps course? I found that when I went to school, they really didn't prepare us for the way that ESRI and GIS in general would develop into the future. When I was in school and we took a application course, we learned Python, we programmed locally, we didn't connect to anything online, and then when we finally did have like a web mapping course, it was just a textbook with the steps on how to customize Google Maps. And so like with anything in life, if you're not acquiring new skills and you're not gaining new knowledge, you're losing what you've already taken the time to study and learn. So for me, I said, while I had an education in one aspect of GIS, I want to continue to use those skills and knowledge in another area that's growing rapidly. GIS is moving more and more mobile with applications moving to the web, so I really wanted to see what ESRI was bringing to the table. It's been a few years since I've been behind the scenes of any of their infrastructure. So you have the data managers over here, which I worked with in the past, and you had the end users, which I am every day, but there's that part in the middle where it's a developer that takes an idea, that has a question, that wants to provide data for their clients or users. I wanted to see what's changed in that sphere. Now, realize that I come from a very cynical point of view. A Mooc, while generous and educational, could be considered a sales pitch. Considering the amount of sway that ESRI has in the industry as a whole, it's not surprising to see these new features in what could be veiled as a sales pitch in some of these courses, in the way that it's taught, in the messaging throughout the course. So realize that when I come to this course and I give you my thoughts on it, it's with that criticism in mind ahead of time already. And since we're talking tech, what better way to analyze this course than a SWOT analysis?
I don't know what that is, but no.
You can SWOT a concept, a department, or a new initiative. You can even SWOT a person, although you have to be careful, they might SWOT you back.
I want to SWOT you.
Well, you can, because now you have the tools.
That's right, Jarrett said it best. If you SWOT someone, they might SWAT you back. See what you got, Dangerman? No, please don't. So the strengths of the course. Hands-on application building is the first thing that comes to mind. This is probably my favorite part of the course. When you enroll in the Mooc, you're able to use the tools and features of the online platform that you normally would have to pay for. The ESRI backend, essentially, anything having to do with their data management, web applications, anything that you go and say, oh, this would be really cool to use, and then they say, well, sign in and then pay for it, you can use for free in a limited scope. You can't just go and build your own thing and just say, well, I'm taking a class, so you have to let me use it. It doesn't work like that. You should know that already. This is ESRI we're talking about. The team learning environment is another really great thing about a Mooc. If you've never taken part in one, I would highly encourage you to go look up the catalog of courses that they've got on their website right now. There's so many new and interesting ones either in progress or coming up, and they're always giving you a heads up as to what is going to be involved in the course. So you don't just take courses that don't interest you, that you lose your willingness to want to participate in the exercises in. Find a course that interests you, that helps you professionally, and do that. It's really easy. It takes like an hour a day. You can take these courses and learn a lot. Between you're watching TV and you're figuring out what you're gonna watch next, and not only learn a lot, but learn with other people in the industry. To learn how people from other areas of the country, from different economic backgrounds, from different educational backgrounds, from different jobs, from different fields, come together to solve problems. I found that people who don't think like me in the GIS mindset often have really, really great ideas or creative ways of solving for problems that normally would get me stuck. I would just get so stuck on this isn't gonna look good on a map. And they say, well, why does it have to go on a map? Why can't it go on a graph of some type? Another great thing about this course is the real world applications. So for me, it was emphasized how many of these applications could be utilized in the real world without using a whole lot of time and effort to get them running them off the ground. Like I said, it takes about an hour to go through the course material generally. For this class it did anyway, and we had working little web apps by the time we finished. So what it really showed us was how quickly, if you were in a position that needed to create quick accessible information or wanted to present this information in a meaningful way, you could do that very quickly, and that was really, really cool to see. I really enjoyed a lot of the filtering and the statistical abilities and analysis features that I got to get my hands on with this course. That's one thing I had never really used in the past. I think primarily is that when I first started, it was using like a token system, and I think it still is, but you don't want to practice with spending money. What I really saw the potential for this, and it's something I see a lot of, is the ability for users to draw their own conclusions with data. I think for a long time, GIS has been a walled city where only the few select that know how to use ArcMap can come in and come out. I think the days of that will be over very soon with apps that allow users to take available data sets and take maps and take location and combine it together to draw their own conclusions. That's what everybody really wants to do. That's why Google and Wikipedia are popular. I think now in the future, our job will be to make data more readily available for people to look at and understand, and then help to guide people who may not have a background in data or have a background in statistics or in how this data was collected, to guide them to understand what can be used to better things and what can be used in sort of a lying with statistics kind of way, which is where the GIS professional will always have a place. So now we're going to move on to a couple of the weaknesses of the course. Now, I don't like to complain about a lot of things, but there are a few things that I found personally that I really didn't like. First off, I found the course to be shallow. Now, I'm aware that this is presented as an intro course, but I really didn't like how little time was spent in each section. Perhaps that wasn't the point of the course, but I saw so many times in the course where I wish we could have stopped and explored different paths. I don't think anybody really wants an app to tell them the rating of a local coffee shop or the nearest grocery store. We've all done those tutorials. But I think if these data points, along with other information, Facebook data, etc., can get combined into an algorithm into a meaningful way, I think that's really the potential that applications and specifically web apps have in the future. It's providing value for clients, for customers. Weaknesses, like I said before, shallow, and I realized that the course wasn't meant to do that, but what I really wish is that we would have had some time to go over more topics in depth. I think that's what was initially meant for the kind of self-study portion of the course. So you have your regular course that's taught by the person, you have an exercise that you go through, and then you have an option for self-study where you can pull from data, use the tools that you've already learned how to use, and implement those. One of the really great things that I discovered through this course was the way to use opendata.gov. Not every city has them, so you might want to check your city to see if it has it. The example that we worked with, we used DC a lot, so I'll put the link to it so you can kind of see what the data portal looks like. They have one from my local city, which is really neat. The backend has been modified for use in ESRI online stuff, so that's really great. Another weakness of this course was the lack of data analytics within the applications. One of the great parts of GIS is building applications to analyze data in real time, or to allow your users to run data analysis in real time. Because this course was limited, there were few opportunities to see what tools were available for this data set, and the closest we got was just like a general population normalization. Another downside was that we never explored an API. This is an ESRI course. Why would we want to enable their competitors by linking to Mapbox or bringing in base maps from Google Maps or anything like that? Why would we want to do that? All their competitors are doing it. So why aren't we learning how to do it? That's what I would answer. Why does Google have one? Why does Trello have one? Or Instagram? It's because they want their applications running in the back of other applications. I think in the future, Moocs would benefit from some more detailed classes. I'm somewhat new to the Mooc world, and just at a glance, you can see the catalog that there's many more courses offered, and I'll definitely be taking more in the future in hopes to get more detail out of what I got out of this class. It drove me to learn more. In regards to geo apps, with a foundation like this course and the extra exercises, I see the use of geo apps being open to a wider community. And while I might complain about the depth of this course a lot, or the type of course, it made me excited to see new ideas and where those are coming from. Another really great opportunity with this course is getting your hands on the software itself. Most of the time, if you're not actively working in this world, you're not going to be able to utilize any of the tools of the back end. The fact that we were able to get in, utilize it, and we had to think about almost 3 to 4 weeks, it was almost a month, to just take this course at your leisure and to learn how to use the tools in the back end was so satisfying. I love that. And finally, the threats to the course. Obviously, if you're going to spend your time taking an online course, your time is valuable. So could that investment of time that you're making be threatened by outside factors with this course? Absolutely. If you're a professional, the knowledge could become outdated, but you have the opportunity to learn more with further classes. You have to keep learning, you have to keep studying in order to remain at the top of your game. If you let it slip, you risk becoming one of the GIS dinosaurs, or data dinosaurs that we've all met in professional life. Additionally, specialization is something that I believe is going to become a thing of the past. I think that as we move into more and more collaborative work, I think as we move into areas where knowledge of more sides of internet technology and interconnected applications becomes more important, I think the days of saying, I just do this, are gone. Obviously, you should study and learn something and devote yourself to something. You cannot be doing 100 things at once. However, if all you do is focus on one thing and ignore everything else and just say, well, that's somebody else's job, you're going to be beat out by the person that says, that's not my job, but I can figure it out, or at least communicate in terms to the person who that is their job of what I need, and build up a relationship like that. That person is so much more valuable on a team than someone just says, well, no, I don't know how to do that. That's not my job. It's what you hired them for. Make them make it work. Another threat to this course is the fact that the tech side of the world is moving so much faster than the GIS industry. Take a look at the applications running on your phone right now, or even maps that are just using spatial data. So many of them are not even getting close to what ESRI is offering in this geo app building course. We're not looking at maps with icons, we're not looking at data sets, we're working on real-time location-based data. And that's where tech is going. And finally, the apps look ugly. I'm sorry, it's my least favorite part of the course. And this just comes from my marketing background. ESRI maps have always looked really terrible. And from when I first started learning stuff to when I first got involved in web maps, they just look bad. I look at something like Mapbox. Mapbox is exciting, it's design forward, it's not so heavy on the tech side, but it's going to capture someone's eye and attention. We eat with our eyes, as Gordon Ramsay says. Does he say? I don't know what Gordon Ramsay says. This is rotten. That's what he says. He says something like that. I know he does. Because he doesn't like the way ugly things look either. He uses more colorful language, obviously. In conclusion, with taking this course, I will leave you with this. Be curious. Learning is great, and if you're like me, learning never gets old. If you find a Mooc that interests you, I'd encourage you to learn. Dig into the self-study portion of the course. This is where you're going to learn the most, is when you're implementing the ideas with your own interest. But step outside too. The biggest problem I see in the industry is professionals that are too tool-oriented. They want to be ESRI experts instead of being curious about the world around them. Get outside, read some new books, read some old books, get inspired, ask questions, and then take a Mooc and bring those new ideas with you. Have you ever participated in an ESRI Mooc? I'd really love to hear what your experience was. Leave me a comment down below and let's get a little discussion going. I'd really like to know which courses you think maybe brought some new information to what you maybe already knew. Thanks for watching this review on the ESRI DIY Geo Apps Mooc. I hope that it gave you some insight, information, and encourage you to take a course yourself. If you enjoyed what you watched, I'd encourage you to leave a like and subscribe below. It helps the channel and it helps to get the information that I'm sharing here with other people that can also benefit from it. Thanks for watching.